Welcome to this week's Be Creative Now episode. This week I decided that I wanted to learn how to bake bread. Since everybody's doing it, it's the thing to do. But I also didn't want to just bake normal bread. And a friend of mine had been talking to me about his tea company and how he was trying to think of more uses for the tea. So I thought, well, what if we just made caffeinated bread out of your yerba mate? This week, we have boosted bread. So I'm here at the buddy's house and he is going to hook me up with my very first sourdough culture. I've never done this before, but he's inside with the jar right now. It's a beautiful day and it's gonna be a lot of fun making bread for the first time. Hey, what's up, Walt? What's up? Boom, this is the stuff.
This is my OG. Her name is Megan the Starter. And she is rye flour, buckwheat, and flax meal. This is my berry bread that I make with my berry starter, and this is like purely for French toast. This one's a little burned, but it still ended up really good. And basically, I make like a berry syrup to go with the berry bread that I made. That's French toast.
Awesome, man. Elbow bumps. There we go. See you, dude. So I just woke up and I'm a little tired because it's early, but I have to feed the starter this morning so that I have enough starter to try making bread later. And I'm gonna do that with some of this flour. I'm not supposed to use bleached flour according to everything I saw, but it's all I could find at the store. We're gonna just use it anyway. And the starter from Walt right here. And this jar, this big jar, is gonna be the new starter jar. We'll use some water. Got a scale. I'm just gonna do equal parts starter, flour, and water. Hope that works out. And now I'm gonna add the starter from zero. It smells like sourdough. Yeah, get it in there. 5, 28, 20, 26. Okay, it looks like 38. And then 40 grams of water. Oops, that was a little too much. Hope it's cool. And then 40 grams of flour. Again, too much, but should be cool. Baking is a science, so it's important to try to be precise, I guess. But now that I've got that in there, I'm just gonna twirl it up. Check it out, my starter's fed. I also wrote the weight of the jar on the lid, and don't close tight, because I guess it'll blow up. You don't want to do that. It's been a few hours since I fed the starter. Now the starter's all bubbly and it's bigger. So now it's time to do the next thing where we make the bread. And for liquid, because this is an experimental loaf, we're using brewed yerba mate, because this is going to be boosted bread. A friend of mine runs the tea company Yerba, Montana, and he's looking for ideas just for different stuff to do to get his yerba mate out there. And so I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if you could make caffeinated bread? 523, this is gonna be a lot of flour. 612, 685, 709. I gotta pour this into the bowl because it's already false. 206, we need 86 grams. Ooh, 2 grams heavy. Let's take a little back. 1,000 grams of flour into my mixing pot. It's gonna be pretty cool getting this turned into boosted yerba mate bread. And here's the yerba mate, Yerba Montana, traditional organic. Brewed it up in a French press, just like this. Put a whole bunch in the French press, let it steep, pressed it, put it in the fridge, so cool it down a bit. There's 500. We're gonna start with 500, then mix in the extra 150 grams a little later. Now I'm just stirring up 500 grams of yerba mate tea into the flour. It's not really as green as I'd hoped, which is probably good. It would be weird probably to have really green bread. And here's just a little bit of leftover yerba mate. Give me some energy for kneading the bread. Yeah, see, that's about what 27 grams of salt looks like. Who knew? One other thing I forgot to add to the yerba mate bread. I have to add the starter. I almost did it without the starter. It's really sticky. Doesn't want to come out of the jar. I'm gonna leave about that much. I got it kind of stirred together. It's not very well stirred yet, but I'm gonna knead it, and that's gonna stir it more. Yeah, I've been kneading it for a while. It's kind of a mess. It's all stuck to my hands. See, it's crazy. I don't think it's done yet, but we're gonna do the window pane test where you cut a piece, like you can see a window through it. But let's look. See, it's still breaking apart. Not done yet. Would be really nice with one of those fancy mixers, I bet. You know, I didn't read this in a recipe, but I also realized it's pretty handy to use just a spatula to kind of scrape it back together if it starts to stick to everything on the counter. Just gonna keep on going. Ooh, it's feeling a little different, man. I think I'm getting somewhere. Getting pretty close here. We'll check it out. Let's see if we can do that window pane test yet. Nope, see, it's still breaking. Gotta knead it some more. I've been kneading it for like 20 minutes now, and as you can see, it's still pretty sticky. It's not really passing the window pane test totally. It's still kind of, let's see, still kind of breaking apart. That's fine. We're gonna call it good. We're gonna put this stuff in a bowl with a tea towel in it to prove for a while. So what I've got is just a bowl, regular bowl, with some towels in it. And then I'm gonna take a little more flour. I'm gonna kind of throw that into the edges of the towels so that hopefully all the bread dough doesn't stick to all the towels. I'm betting it probably will anyway. There it is. Here's my ball of dough. Put it right there. Boom. And then sprinkle a little bit more flour over the top of it so it's kind of, you know, protected. And then wrap it up like that. Let it just sort of hang out and just chill for a few hours right there. I'm also going to put a little bit more water that I just boiled on the yerba mate, because I like to use the yerba mate leaves a couple times. Not usually once for bread, usually both for drinking. I didn't really get to drink that much of the last pot, and I'd like to have some of this before I go for a bike ride. Get that in there. I usually push it right away, all the way. Pull it back up, and it makes all the leaves spin around. Okay, so it's been several hours, and now it's time to check on the bread that's been proving for 3 hours. And it didn't really rise as much as I was hoping it would, but it rose a little bit. So we're gonna shape the loaves. Put some of this flour down. Boom, plop that out. Well, that's actually, it's pretty nice. Check that out. I'm gonna divide it. I'm gonna set half aside. And then I'm gonna shape the loaves. All right, a couple loaves ready to go. So it's morning already. These breads didn't rise that much last night, and I got tired. So I let them rise overnight in the fridge. They should have better flavor. But the thing is, they didn't rise that much. So I'm just gonna bake them anyway. Hope for the best. You can see that one's kind of flat. Looks real nice. And the other one's more like bread shaped. We're gonna use a Dutch oven. We're gonna preheat the Dutch oven in there too. So I carved a little star into the bread. Used this jagged knife. You have to poke the sourdough focaccia with your finger to get the oil into the bread and the air out. The first loaf is out of the oven. There's my baker's signature on top. BeCreativeNow star. Let's flip it over. Nice little browning on the bottom. Pretty heavy. So we're just gonna give it the old tap test. The focaccia came out too. Looks really good. Check that out. Yes, kind of got messed up on the bottom a little, but whatever. crusty edges. All right, so the time has come to cut into these magic loaves and see how the yerba mate bread turned out. There we go. So it's a little dense. It's probably because I didn't use as much of the starter as I wished I had. So next time I'll use more. Now I'm gonna bite it. It's just great. So here you can see the finished product. We've got our yerba mate sourdough right here. It is delicious. And then over here we've got our yerba mate focaccia, equally delicious. As you look really close, you notice the size of the holes in the bread could be a little bit bigger. I think that's definitely because I didn't have as much starter as I wanted to, so next time I'm just going to try to use more starter. And again, this was made with Yerba Montana, just because it's a special day. We're going to put some yuzu honey on it. I hope you guys have a great time. Thanks for checking out BeCreativeNow.com. See you next week.